Davante Adams is not going to be a Packer after this year.
Yikes.
That might be incorrect, but all signs are indicating that Davante Adams and the Packers were in great conversations about a negotiation for an extension with 1 year left on his contract as a Green Bay Packer, and now being talked about by everybody as top 2 wide receiver in the NFL, not 2, is what everybody is saying about Davante Adams alongside Aaron Rodgers, whose future is obviously a massive question mark. Those two have to be tied together, though. Aaron Rodgers has no idea what's going on with the Packers. The Packers have no idea what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. The Packers trying to negotiate with Davante Adams. Who knows what the deal was? Somebody alluded to how the Packers normally make offers and what their offer probably looked like, as if it was maybe not as good as what Davante was expecting or could see elsewhere. Davante's people and the Packers have ceased that conversation. Trouble waters in Green Bay continue to pour in. Owner of the Green Bay Packers, Ty Schmidt. How's it going? You got A.J. Dillon still?
Yeah.
You got Big Bob Tunyon.
Aaron Jones you locked up.
Jordan Love, offensive lineman. The defense is still pretty good. You can't be all down in the dumps, but boy, it has to be an interesting feeling knowing that you could have maybe the number 1 and number 1 guy in 2 pretty pivotal positions. Pivotal positions. 2 pivotal positions. You could have the number 1 guy. But it seems like because of maybe behind-the-scenes stuff, you're probably out of that for the future of the Green Bay Packers. It's a shame, man. I love the Packers. It's a shame.
Yeah, not going to have those 2 guys after next year, which it hurts. But what do you like? I mean, why would Davante Adams re-sign with the Packers if he doesn't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there?
Never made sense. Just like whenever he was talking to Derek Carr and
I love Derek Carr. He's my best friend.
Love playing. And Derek was like, he'd be great over here. People like he's going to go to the Raiders whenever he becomes a free agent. And then he had to address that. He was, I think he was pretty nonchalant. He was like, no. And then people started talking about, he's going to stay with the Packers. And our first thought was, he ain't going to sign his thing if he doesn't know who the quarterback is, right?
No
That's
way.
not something he's going to do. That wouldn't be a smart money, life, everything decision for Davante to do without knowing who the hell the quarterback's going to be.
And from what we've seen, he wants to and deserves to be paid like the top receiver in the NFL, and said like the Packers aren't willing to make him the top paid receiver in the NFL, so it doesn't that's kind of just the end of that, right? Like there's no wiggle room there.
That's kind of the end of that.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. My worry now is that if they really don't know if Rodgers is going to show up, and like they're thinking like, okay, he actually might not show up, that they might fucking trade Davante before the season starts. Because it's like, all right, well, if we're going to lose him after the season anyway, we might as well try to recoup some of his value.
I didn't even think of that.
That worries me quite a bit.
That would suck.
That should worry because you trade him, then there's obviously no chance that. Now, Gunther Kuntz and Murphy are in a bed that they have created, and the people that were there before them have created. Okay, they have to do this, but it is not a good position to be in, and I don't know how they get out of it. There's a lot of personal shit they got to figure out, as well as the professional stuff. I doubt it, though. Hopefully they do, but there's not a lot of time.
Ian, what about something? I think that you're the one that broke this, that reported it earlier, that Davante Adams and the Packers, that talks are dead, basically. Did something happen to hold them up? And do you see them, is this going to drag on?
It's going to drag on. And I actually don't know when talks will be restarted. That's what's kind of interesting here. Is that the Davante Adams bobble?
It's Aaron Rodgers. I figured this is the reason why that stopped.
I thought that too, but that is actually not the case. In my head, I knew they were having talks, but I didn't know how serious they got, because I thought Davante wouldn't commit to the Packers until he knew about Rodgers, but they were having serious negotiations without knowing Aaron Rodgers' status. The problem is Davante Adams wants to be, and probably should be, the number 1 paid receiver in the NFL. This guy should just host the show, by the way. Number 1 receiver in the NFL. And the Packers are not willing to give him what DeAndre Hopkins got based on new money. So they broke off talks Monday. Everyone kind of waited to see if they would restart. They have not. There's no end in sight. So those two sides are basically nowhere.
So does that mean that you're assuming or under the thought that this is the last season for Davante and he's going to go to free agency? Is it like, did it end bad, you think? Or is there like I want this, we're not going to give you this, there's no deal ever in sight? Because I think the way I read it was, Okay, so he doesn't know if Aaron's going to be there. Andy's going to be a free agent. They won't pay him that. Somebody will. If Aaron was there, wouldn't he more likely be like, okay, I'll take a little bit of a discount if I know that the MVP of the NFL is going to be there? Does it feel as if it feels, in the way you tweeted, it sounded like it felt that way, but there's a lot of people like kind of counter-arguing that you think Davante Adams and the Packers are going to split, huh? You feel, yeah?
I didn't think so. If you asked me 2 days ago, I would have said absolutely not. Now, I honestly don't know because they could franchise him next year, but the number's really high. It's like $20 million or something. So, what the Packers have done sometimes is they waited the guys to get free right up against free agency. They did it with Aaron Jones this year and then strike a deal. Sam Shields, I think, got kind of a similar deal. The Packers have waited, and then done deals. They also will negotiate through the season, as what happened with Bakhtiari this year. So I wouldn't say it's like over. But him becoming a free agent is way more viable and realistic now than I ever thought. And I was actually really surprised by this news. I will say that.
Okay,